I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
Oh, I'm beating you with my mind. And I can still dominate, I think.
Dane, you're a legend, bro.
Mic check. How's it going, everybody? We're back, man. It's been a long time since I did a live stream. Hope you guys are doing good. If I have any echoes, let me know. Actually, give me 1 second here. That'll help a little bit. Yeah, how's it going, guys? Friday night. Back in the danger zone. Our team sucks. 3 and what is it now? 8? 3 and 8? Tough stuff, man. Tough stuff. You can tell that I haven't done this in a couple weeks. Got some technical difficulties already. Can't get the chat on my computer, but I have it queued up here in the background. So just bear with me if it takes me a second to get to your comments. But I do have access to them, so it's just a matter of time. But if for some reason when I put this on the screen, you guys get the latest comments, but mine is frozen from what was there in pre-show. So I just leave it there if I could, but like I said, it's not working, so no biggie. Well, maybe it started working because I just got one from Roger. That one. You know what? We'll figure it out. Bear with me again because new studio. Still getting my stuff, all ironed out and whatnot, but it has much higher potential than my prior one. So that'll be cool because the last place I was in, it was like paper thin walls and whatnot. So it was kind of difficult to really go all out, Got to get my ring light and all that situated, but we're making do right now. Unlike the Jets, who are a dumpster fire, right? So bad. So bad. I mean, so bad that we didn't get a first down until drive number 6 last week. Then we scored 30 points in 30 minutes, 27 points from the 2-minute warning of the first half to the 2-minute warning of the second half, 30 minutes, right? 27 points. Where was that the first 28 minutes? I mean, this is going to go down as, you could label it anything you like, but like, so disappointing. It's like when your dad says he's not mad at you, he's disappointed. I'm the dad and the Jets are my child because they should feel like that. I'm disappointed in them. So, anyways, tonight we'll get into all that. There's also some tabloidy stuff surrounding us. I mean, bye week. Yeah, come on. Did not get a week off. I think Woody thought the bye week meant the bye week, but we'll get into that. And by we, I think you probably saw it in the thumbnail. I have Rickie New York joining me. So, hell of a guy. We all know him. We all love him. He'll be joining me. I think he's getting set up as we speak. Yep, he is. Yep, looks like he is about good to go. So, gonna bring him out, and that'll give me some space to look at your chats and whatnot. But feel free, man. If you have some questions for us, toss them in the chat. I don't know if I'll get them on screen, but I'll definitely see them and verbalize them. So, without further ado, let this guy I haven't talked to in a while. Besides like Jake Asman live chat, that's like a flurry of comments. So you don't really get to talk in that. So, got a lot of questions for this guy. See what he has to say. Without further ado, Rickie New York.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Dude, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Work's been beating up on me, so apologies. I haven't been quite as much, but they've been keeping me busy. But obviously, I've been still keeping up with everything that's going on with the team, and I'm ready to roll. So, and first off, I know the question that's at the top of the list for most people, and I'll go ahead and answer that now. No, I am not single. Sorry, I'm spoken for.
I love it. I love it because my inbox is blowing up down there. Hey, I like
Which,
that. I like that poster behind you, man. That's pretty sweet.
yeah, I mean, you know that I've had some things going on, and it kind of postponed the launch of my channel, and just the way that the year has unfolded. Maybe some years a mid-season launch wouldn't be as bad, but in a season like this, probably not. So as far as that goes, I mean, I probably am going to make a couple of standalone videos as the year progresses, but as far as a full launch for the channel, I think I'm just going to go ahead and postpone it. And at this point, I'm going to probably launch at the draft. But that gives me extra time to make sure that everything is perfect and do a few other things that I wanted to do that maybe time wouldn't have allowed and money wouldn't have allowed for. But now I can make sure that everything is just perfect and just the way that I want it. So I guess if there's any silver lining to this at all, that would be it. It gives me a little bit of extra time to prepare.
100%, man. Actually, I did want to launch about this time last year, and for the same reasons, I did it right around 420, if you like that.
Right?
I did it right leading up to the draft because, like, if I waited for it to be perfect, it never would have happened. But there is something to be said about feeling like you are close to perfect. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to feel like you're half-assing it, because
Right.
that's where I always felt like everybody only gets one first impression of you. So like I didn't want to jump into it and then everybody say, "Oh, this guy sucks." But if you take your time and you're ready for the draft, you'll be fine, man. Plus,
Right.
everybody knows
And
you already. That helps.
and in addition to everything that goes into it to begin with, I had a guy that was kind of helping me behind the scenes. Like Jake has Gator. Well, my guy isn't like a gator. He's more like a bullfrog, big and slow moving. And it's, and I've come to find out that, a lot of what I had him doing, I would rather just invest the time, figure out how to do it myself and do it myself. Like initially I wanted to do everything myself, like, so I could say I did everything. And I mean, when we were building the studio, like, I mean, dude, I was out there sawing 2x4s. I built the stud walls. I literally built the studio from the ground up, drew my own logo, wrote my own music. I mean, I literally did everything. So, I figure why stop there? I might as well edit my own videos and do all that stuff myself too. I've done everything up to this point. So,
Yeah,
but you know what? I've always thought, why rely on other people for what you can do yourself? And
100%. Dude,
this
and that's the
this has turned
thing.
out better.
Well, and people don't like, dude, a thumbnail, like I could spend 20 minutes on. Like every little detail takes time. And there is a sense of pride. Like you shouldn't have to outsource every little nugget. Like you ought to be able to do some of it yourself. And hey, the more of it you can do yourself, the more pride you'll have in it, you know?
Absolutely. Well, props to you. You got your thing going and going good, and like originally, I'll tell you what, I had this idea for like a Jets YouTube show ages ago. However, it probably would have been just like standalone videos of me talking like what everybody used to do in the beginning. And I actually made a video, and it was same name, Rickie New York, and it was like the Rickie New York show or something cheesy like that back then. But when I started working on this idea now, I actually pulled up my YouTube, and there was that first video that I made a long time ago. And I'll tell you how long ago it was. It was breaking down Jets draft pick Calvin Pryor. Like that was the very first video I did.
The
But you know
Louisville
what? I didn't.
Slugger.
Yes, I didn't really know. I didn't really have a firm direction for it at that point. And then, I mean, I think we know how that season turned out for us, and it. Nobody wants to really launch during a disaster of a season. So I put it off, and then years went by that I kept thinking about the idea, but not sure what to do with it. And then somewhere like on Twitter, like I came across like Jet Central and started watching a couple of his videos. And from there, I found Jake. And then Jake gave me all kinds of ideas. But listening to him the other day, he was saying, like, in the beginning, everybody was just doing videos of them talking. So, he figured, why not do a live call-in show like what he does on the radio? And it translated well into a YouTube thing, which, I was like, yeah. And so my own ideas, I'm not going to give too much away right now, but I've got similar ideas myself. Like I was like, okay, so Jake took that and, related it into what he does. But I want to do something a little bit different, maybe, than people are doing, and
Hey,
maybe
and
not
don't
completely different, but do it differently.
and the less you can tell people too, the better. Because man, if this isn't a monkey see, monkey do business, like I don't know what is. It's just crazy how much gets copied. So careful.
Yeah,
That's all I'll
yeah.
say.
I'm not that. Yeah, I'm not gonna. People are gonna have to wait and tune in to find out. I'm gonna keep a lot of it pretty close to the chest, but that being said, like I just keep, looking at things and thinking, God, there is a lot of untapped potential here. There is a lot of uncharted territory here with what could be done. Uh, and so I'll tell you what, if things work out the way that I want them to, it's going to be like a warning shot across YouTube when it does launch,
Ooh,
because I'm going to
baby.
force everybody to step their game up because we could be
I
doing
love
so
it.
much more, in my opinion.
I
Uh,
love it.
I mean, but I mean, like, if you think about it, it's like we're doing basically like videos of talk radio, with callers calling
Yeah.
in. Why are we doing a radio format in a TV environment when we have that kind of potential? Uh, Audio is great, but visuals, where's that? So,
Facts.
I mean,
Facts.
I don't know. That's just the way I'm looking at it.
You've piqued my
Maybe
interest, sir. You've piqued my interest. Say no more. Say no more.
right on. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Well, you know what? Before we get into the big picture stuff, because that is the flavor of the week, let me ask you about this. Can you see this on your screen, Ricky?
Yes.
Thoughts on the Jets game with the Colts last Sunday?
It was really tough to watch. You know, I don't want to. I want to try to give you something new. I don't want to like try to repeat the same points that I've said on other shows, but I have to come back to the fact that I think Anthony Richardson's a bum. Like, I do not think that guy's good. I told everybody, back when the draft was happening and everyone's like, oh, he's the best prospect, blah, blah. I'm like, you watch this guy in college, you same people that are like trolling me about Florida State are saying how he's great. If he's so great, why couldn't he beat us his entire college career? He awful decision making, spotty accuracy. I said in the beginning, he's like Zach Wilson that can run better. Like, and his completion percentage just exemplifies that. It 44%, I think, completion percentage going into that Jets game. And of course, we made him look competent. The thing that pissed me off the most, I think, was the one touchdown that he had where he like play action and then he bootlegs out to the left and runs it in. Like, Kyler Murray ran that same exact play against us the week before. Like, how many times are teams going to run the exact same play against us and us not adjust and be ready for it? Really, really aggravating. Not trying to disrespect the Colts, but I don't think they're a good team, and it pisses me off that we lost to them.
It's so disheartening, man, because dude, I struggle because, like, define team. We have a better roster, but like,
oh yeah, and that's
as far
definitely
as team,
true.
we might be lucky to have 3 games when it comes to being a team. It's so frustrating though, like, because as I alluded to earlier, man, this is gonna go down as one of the, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like a lost opportunity, basically. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
we're
don't know if we'll ever have a talented team like this.
we're blowing a huge opportunity, and that's the thing, man. Like, our roster, if you look at it, we've got a bunch of great players, but we don't have a team. They're not playing as a team. Um, I don't know. So much has been made about so many things, but to me, I just and for a long time, this season, looking at it, it was hard to pinpoint what the problem was. Some weeks it was kicking. We had Mike Williams dropping some and real quick, all the people go, oh, look at Mike Williams. Shut the fuck up already, please. He caught a touchdown in his first game away from us. You know what? It was his only catch that whole game, and it was a fingertip, like he barely caught it. Half the time he drops that shit. Yes, he got lucky and caught one. And yeah, that's just our luck. It's like the Mecole Hardman thing. We boot him. He catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Aside from that, what did he do over there? Nothing. Like, he did nothing.
Right.
Xavier Gibson had better stats than Mecole Hardman before the Super Bowl happened that year.
Yeah,
So,
and honestly, I think that he was force fed that. Like, Mahomes could have ran that in, or anyone who was in
right.
Mecole's position on their depth chart would have caught that. Like, he did nothing out of the ordinary. It just
No,
happened to
and
be
you know
him.
why he threw
Yeah.
it to him in that spot? Because nobody expected the ball to go to him, because he usually does nothing when he gets it. I take that back. He does occasionally fumble when he gets it, but
Yeah.
uh, at any rate, like, yeah, that's just the way it happens. But for all the people that are saying, oh, look at Mike Williams had a touchdown his first game away from the Jets. Well, guess who else had a touchdown in that same time frame? Xavier Gibson. So,
True.
you know,
True. Yeah.
uh,
Good point.
are we, Xavier Gibson has had a couple of catches and a touchdown. You know, if Mike Williams was still here, he'd have a couple of catches. Would he have the touchdown or not? We don't know. So I'm not looking at it as we lost a bunch of production. And I'm looking at it from the lens that, okay, Mike Williams, his calling card is being that jump ball 50-50 guy. I'm going to push back a little bit and say maybe you have to be that jump ball 50-50 guy if you're not the most polished route runner, because the ball isn't coming to a spot. So you have to go up and adjust to it. You know, Rodgers with a timing based offense, you know, and he's, you know, a lot of times he's releasing it before guys are coming out of their breaks. He's throwing to a spot. And if you're going to do that, you've got to be in the right spot. So maybe looking at it from that lens, maybe a 50-50 jump ball guy isn't the best fit for our system. And we learned that the hard way. So I'm not going to look at it like, oh, we had this great guy and blew it. You know what? We got Devontae, who's can do everything Mike Williams can do and more, and is a better fit for our system.
See, and much like the JFM trade, which everyone wants to look at like an individual trade, I honestly think that the Zach Wilson trade and the JFM trade, both to the same team, one before the draft, one after the draft, I think they were both kind of all one trade. Now, I could be wrong, but like the timing and the recipients, I tend to think that it was just a staggered one-man trade. Well,
right.
Everybody also likes looking at the Mike Williams departure as a single move when really he sent out, Devontae comes in, it's like all one trade. You know, you got
that one especially seems like one big trade. What kills me is the people that, you know, when JFM got traded couldn't care less, but now they're having a bad year, they're like, I've seen people saying that JFM was the heart of our defense and he's what made the defensive line go. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know, occasionally he'd have a few sacks here and there. He was good for, you know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 sacks in a year.
There was no one. There was no one defending him last year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And he would also have those back-breaking penalties that would kill us. You know, the one that took the pick 6 off the board probably cost us that game. So I don't look at it so much as, oh, we're stupid, we shouldn't have traded JFM, but we should have had a more competent replacement. Like that was one of the biggest knocks with me against Saleh. Is, you know, he convinced JD that he could turn Kinlaw into this, you know, hidden gem. You know, he just needs to be polished up. And you know, JD agreed and paid him this way bigger deal than he ever should have got. And he's been fucking awful. Like Kinlaw has really been awful. Now, last week he did have a sack and recovered the fumble and everything. So good for him. It was good to actually finally see something out of him. But our run defense has been awful. And just to throw this out there, you know, as far as head coaching candidates, if we decided to go the route of Aaron Glenn has got the Detroit defense, one of the best against the run. And that's something that he actually prides himself on, is stopping the run. So not saying that he would be my top choice or anything else, but for the people that just want to dismiss that out of hand, you know, right off the bat, hey, you know what? That might just be exactly what we've been looking for in that department. Anyway,
you know what? Hang on to that because we're getting into coaching for sure.
I almost didn't want to say that because I don't want to get ahead of myself. But
well, it's all right. Before we move on, because I mean we're going there fast. I mean, they're how much you want to talk about week 11, you know, and it's just bad, man.
Hey, I do have some good news though. the Jets are not going to lose this week.
Yeah, dude. Oh, what are the odds though? Like, you think that you can let your hair down and then boom, fire the GM? Not even that, but like then there's going to be a big ass scandal with the owner. Like, come on,
Hey,
give
you
us a
know
week
what?
off.
When we get to that, I'll address that. But I definitely, absolutely have some thoughts about the owner scandal thing. Personally, I think a lot of it is bullshit. If you look at the way that last year was when we got Aaron Rodgers, you remember Diana Rossini tried to break something about it, and he came right out and called her out and said it was bullshit. So I don't know. I tend to think that the Woody thing is overblown, and I think a lot of it is bullshit. And you know what? If we really want to know the truth, all we have to do is sit back and wait, another 9 days, and we'll find out. If that Seattle game gets here and Aaron Rodgers trots out there for that first drive, then we know it's bullshit. Because if Woody was wanting to bench Aaron Rodgers and JD was standing, first of all, employees don't usually get away with telling the boss, no, I'm not going to do that. And if you say he didn't get away with it, he got fired. Well, good. If that's the case, we'll see. I think it had more to do with performance and his record than that. But like I said, all we got to do is wait and see. If Aaron trots out there for the first drive, we'll know that was bullshit. Because if Woody truly wanted to bench him, well, now Salah's gone, JD's gone, everything standing in his way was gone. If he really wanted to bench him, he could do it now. And so if it doesn't happen, then it's bullshit.
I do see your logic there. I mean, let's just stick with that. As far as the athletic report goes, I mean, there were so many things, and a lot of people hashed it all out already. There was one that said we wanted to trade Lazard and a second or third rounder for Jerry Jeudy. There was one that said we wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers after 4 weeks of the season.
I think after the Denver game.
Yep. That, I mean, there was literally a dozen different things. I did cancel out quite a bit of it that I thought was garbage, but just the fact that there's so much of it. I mean, obviously you did say you don't really believe it, but do you think that there's some of it that can be,
There's probably some of it, but okay, first of all, I hate the word meddling, like Woody's meddling. You know what? It's not meddling when it's your fucking team. Like, dude, he owns the team. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, technically. Now, the way that I would probably word it as opposed to meddling is he interfering with our day-to-day operations? And no, I really don't think he is, to the point that people are making it out. Yes, I do think he has some input, but even in that last press conference that JD gave, where he did seem kind of defeated, like anytime he's talked, he's always said, I'm in constant communication with Woody. We're lockstep on everything. And you know what? I think they even agreed on this parting. I think they agreed to disagree. I think JD was like, listen, I know my philosophy will work given time. I know what I'm doing will work. And Woody was like, given time, it's been 6 fucking years. How much time do you want? See ya. And so, I think it was much more likely something like that behind the scenes, because, dude, look at JD since we've known him. He stuck behind Zerline way too long because that was his guy. Look how long he stuck with Zach Wilson because that was his guy. I mean, if JD is a great very good drafter, better than people give him credit for. People say, oh, he just had that one draft. No, he didn't. He got Michael Carter late round. He can't make a good pick unless it's a top 10 pick. guess what? Will McDonald looks fucking good. He wasn't a top 10 pick, and most people bitched about that pick and didn't even know who he was at the time, myself included.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was just gonna say I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, I am. I'm guilty of it. I was like, Will McWho? What the fuck? I mean, I was like that green bean video that Gator did. Like, what the fuck? Like, I had no idea who he was. And you know what? I admit they picked a player I wasn't familiar with. They developed that player, and he looks good. You know, getting guys like Bryce Huff, you know, as a UDFA, like they've developed some players. Granted, all on the defensive side, I will say that. But I mean, we have defensive coaches. What do you expect? I mean, I would expect the defensive guys to come along quicker than the offensive ones. But we do need some good offensive coaching. At any rate, I kind of got off track there. But with JD and like JD and his draft strategy, you know, best player available. Now, during that really good draft that we had with Sauce Garrett, I think he did draft for need as opposed to just BPA in that draft, and it turned out better. But he was married to that philosophy, and sometimes that would aggravate me. The other thing is, if JD, any player, free agent, rookie, like he sets a value on a guy, and his price is his price. He doesn't go above it. And if that means we miss on a guy, fine, but he's not overpaying. And so, I mean, we've seen over the course of his tenure a guy that is very, very, very set in his ways.
Yes.
And I think what he said finally said, dude, your way isn't working. We need something different. And I think JD was unable to change from his philosophy. And so they parted ways.
Facts. And I think the major notion out there is like the idea of finally having a quarterback, finally having Aaron Rodgers this year kind of bought Sala and JD this extra season. But like, I question that logic because, I mean, not the logic of the people saying that, but the logic if that was Woody's. Because say Aaron has a successful season, like these guys, what? Then they get 3 more years or 4 more years? Like, they're either the right guys or they're not.
Or they're
like,
not.
Yeah,
now,
like
I really personally probably wouldn't have been with okay, sorry, I was reading a comment. I probably wouldn't have been as against keeping JD, but maybe marrying him with another head coach would have been tough because of the way things have gone here. And dude, I mean, a lot of this just boils down to just bad luck. You know, it's not necessarily the Jets, but it's just the way that things have gone. You know, the Hassan Reddick thing, like, dude, I think that is so overblown and out of perspective. Like, I really don't think like Woody stepped in and saved the day and got the deal done. I think that Reddick just finally got to the point where he had to report or lose a year. You know,
yes.
And so he ended up agreeing to the deal that they had offered him in the very beginning with just a small adjustment. But I really don't think I don't think it was
the opportunity. Well, I was going to say it might have been the first time that we doubled the bonus so that he could make back some of his fines.
Right.
But if we didn't do that, he was coming by now anyway. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is you know, I've heard people say that we got rid of JFM and we got rid of Huff. We did nothing to replace them. I mean, that's not true. We got Kinlaw to replace JFM, which in hindsight was a huge mistake. Like, I hated it at the time. I hate it more now. But it's not like they didn't try. They brought in, Fotu also. They brought in a couple of guys to fill that spot, and just none of them worked out, unfortunately. And as far as Huff, who was our best pass rusher, I mean, dude, we brought in Reddick. By all indications, he should have been great, but nobody knew he was going to pull this shit. That's like Rodgers getting hurt last year. I mean, we brought in the right guys, just for whatever reason, something has happened to where it didn't translate to the field.
Facts. And you're right. Bringing in Reddick should have, at least in the Aaron Rodgers window, should have came out in the wash. Now, long term, you wouldn't have had either guy, but like right now, it shouldn't have mattered. But guess what? Jermaine goes down, and then Reddick
That's
does.
another thing. That's
That's
huge.
huge.
Nobody saw
Yeah,
that happening.
facts. That is huge. And it really started to spiral when that happened, to be honest. And
Well,
he's
see,
chomping
that's
at
when
chomping at the
you'll
bit.
see every so often you'll see some casual that'll say like, "Oh, think about Jermaine as a rookie. He started off slow, too, blah blah blah," and it's like, idiot. He had a sack in his very first game against Baltimore, and then he missed 4 games when he was fucking hurt. Is that the slow start you're referring to? Like, don't just read some stats off the computer that says he had a slow start. Like, actually pay attention to what the fuck was going on and put some context to your conversation. He didn't start slow. He got hurt. I hate it when people say that. And, that's my boy. I'll stick up for Jermaine every day of the week. Awesome. And
Honestly,
that's a huge loss. Huge loss.
yes. There are so many things that you could just tweak, and this year would be a lot different. Jermaine's one of them. Greg Zerline is another. Like,
Yeah, I
um,
know. At the end of the year last year,
Tyron Smith.
every Jets fan said, we've got to re-sign Zerline. We've got to keep him. We finally have a good keeper. We've got a kicker. We got to keep him. And you know what? I don't know, how much I believe of he had an injury to his plant leg that was causing him some issues. Like they said at the end, it could be true, but you know what? Like, all the time we bitch when guys are out and we say, guys should tough it out, play through the injury. If it was so and so, he'd be out there playing. But when they do that and they don't perform well, then we kill them for it. Like, so I don't know if it was like, Greg is saying he can get through it. And they tried to let him for just too long. I don't know. Whatever the case is, they mishandled that situation. And I even stuck up for him the game that he missed several because, being an out of market guy, I'm not at the game, but I'm listening to the telecast. And literally on the TV, I heard the guy say, just when you think you've got this place figured out, today the wind is swirling from the opposite direction. And I went back and watched those kicks like over and over again. And the longer one that he missed, like, dude, you can see it. And it looks like it's drifting a little bit to the left, but as soon as it gets to about the 15-yard line, it just goes whoop and like hooks a sharp left. And I'm like, okay, well, the wind obviously caught that one. Like, a football doesn't make a turn like that naturally. But the second one, I honestly think, and from talking to people at the game and passing it by them, I honestly think on that second one, he was trying to compensate for that gust of wind, and the gust of wind never came.
Yeah,
And
play in the wind. I mean,
yeah.
that single game, yes, but like,
Oh,
I
and
don't
I'm
know,
only
man.
I'm only talking about that game. I'm only
Yes,
talking about that game. Let me be real clear about that. Now the other ones, the misses were just misses.
yeah.
But
Well, it's
the
just
one
it's
game, like I said, and you know what? Even if I'm right and he just over adjusted for the wind, that's still him missing it. So out of all those, that one, the 142-yarder, I don't think was his fault. The rest were.
and
And
that's fair. The
yeah,
shitty thing is though, like that cost us games, and like you could tell very early on in the season, hell, the end of the preseason, that the ball, even when he was making it, was not coming off his foot like it did the prior year. It wasn't.
no, I
Because
mean,
he would do this lollipop that had a slight 10-degree fade every time.
well,
Perfect.
yeah. Have you noticed? Like, I was going to say, even the kicks that he's made this year all seem to be drifting to the left for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
and they're not even like good rotation. Some of them were like knuckleballs that like I don't know, man. It just, and I don't think the pressures of playing in New York, like I think that we can get on guys so heavily and even sadly get in their heads. I think that applies to quarterback. It definitely applies to kicker. Like those are two positions where you can't be overthinking. And I fear that we got in Greg's head. Once you like it snowballed is what I'm trying to say. It snow he
That's
wasn't gonna
okay.
he
I
was
have
not
the
getting it back. He
I have
wasn't.
the answer. I have the answer to this problem, and I know how to fix the Jets when it comes to this issue. It is time for Fitz magic. It is time for the Jets to add Ryan Fitzgerald, the kicker from Florida State, who is 100% on the season.
Well,
A
there you go,
hundred
man.
percent, dude. As much as a train wreck as that team is right now, our kicker is can't miss. He's good, man. He's and he's such a good kid too. Uh,
Good to know. Is he
I
he's going
mean,
for the draft?
I obviously wouldn't spend any premium capital on him, but at the end of the draft, grabbing a kicker that's just nails on that you can count on, like shit, I would definitely do it. A kicker on a rookie deal's got to be really cheap to pay.
Yeah, if they're not at a UDFA, I mean, anywhere on
Right.
that late,
Dude, he's so good. I think someone will draft him, albeit very late. But he's actually good enough. I think someone would draft him. But yeah, and he got his invite to the Reese's Senior Bowl this week, which he accepted. And our
nice.
coaches have been involved with the Senior Bowl every year, so that might make it more of a possibility.
You know what? Here's a another disheartening. I mean, most of this is going to be bad news, but um, one
Yeah, it's
sport,
not easy to
one
find something positive right now.
our success in one possession games has been horrific. And this, okay, so this is from right before the Colts game.
Hmm.
And what this is showing us is that if every one possession game had the opposite result, this would be
What would our
everyone.
record be?
Yeah, so now counting the Colts game, we would be 6-5. You know what's crazy though is look
Dude,
at
see, that's the
Kansas.
thing is a lot of these games we should have and could have won. Like, I'm gonna be honest, when the Colts game happened this past week, like that was one of my like 3-day weekends at work, and I work 12, 14 hours a shift when I'm there. So like I had just done 2 days in a row of that with hardly any sleep. I came home. I had my alarm set for 1 o'clock to wake up to watch the game, and the alarm went off. I turned it off and I sat there for a minute and I was thinking, God, man, I'm just not really excited for this game. Like, I do not feel like getting up. And I actually thought we were going to win that game. I thought that was, one of the few games that I was really confident we would win. And as I was laying there thinking about it, I just fell back asleep. And when I woke up, it was like 20-4 or something. It was like the end of the third quarter, and I had slept through most of the game. And I was
The
like, "Holy
Cardinals,
shit!"
yeah.
And right when I woke up, the first thing I heard was touchdown Jets, and I'm like, "What?" Okay, and I looked, and I think it was 14-13 at that point. And then they scored, and then at the end of the game, I'm like, "Holy shit, we're winning!" And I actually told my wife, I was like, "You know what? I think we're actually going to win another game today." And then, of course, 2 minutes left. We let them drive the length of the field in a minute and a half, and because we got Aaron Rodgers, we've got no timeouts left because they burned all those up already. And yeah, but I shouldn't say it like that. It's not necessarily his fault. I think you know what? That's something else that comes down to coaching, because I think sometimes he lets the clock get so low. Ulbricht's like, shit, he's not going to make it, and he burns a timeout when maybe we
Yeah.
could have got that play off. Like,
Well, The other
And
thing
the
is,
offense has been so bad, they'd rather burn a timeout than take the chance of losing the 5 yards because our offense isn't good enough to make that 5 yards up.
yeah. Well, the other
So I
thing,
think,
like the defense too. How much? So okay, I don't know if you saw the end, but we take the lead, right? How much confidence did you have that our defense would stop them? We had a 5 point lead, 2 minutes to go. Did you?
you know
Were you
what? But
confident?
foolishly, I actually thought we would because on the drive prior to that, where they scored, you'll remember there was a play where like they had it at like the 2 yard line and the Jets stuffed Taylor, goal line stand, and we stood up. And I'm like, which I mean, they ended up scoring, but still, like that was good to see. Uh, a couple of years ago, I would have said like 0% worried. This year, foolishly, I still thought we would, but you know, we didn't stop them. At any rate,
No.
like
I mean,
like
I
yeah, I'm
was.
I'm starting to lose confidence, but uh dude, I've got a hat around here somewhere, and instead of getting like a player's name and number or my own name, it actually says defense 2022. Uh because dude, I was all about our defense. Like, I mean, I remember that goal line stand versus fucking Joe Burrow and the high powered Bengals offense. And Quinnen fucking sacked his ass. Not only a goal line
Yes.
stand, we shut him down in dominating fashion.
Well, we
And
still will. This year's
like
been
in the
different.
back of my
I mean,
mind, I still think that we're that because
yeah,
aside from Huff, like most all the players are the same. Like it's still that same team. Why aren't we playing like that? It's really
yeah.
aggravating.
It really is. I mean, this year alone, we saw Bo Nix take a 60-yard drive to beat us at the end. We've seen uh, Jacoby Brissett do it. So literally, when we scored that touchdown, I was thinking, "Damn it, Brees! Damn it, Brees! I wish you would have just stopped at the one." And we would have killed some time, and then Braylon could have punched it in. Like I knew the writing was on the wall. We were not. They were gonna rip our heart out, and my dumbass after the Colts go 70 yards in 70 seconds. I was thinking to myself, "Oh well, they gave us 48 seconds. Here we go, Aaron, because I'm an idiot." And
Oh
then that
no,
ended up.
dude! Listen, as soon as we had like 46 seconds, no timeouts, like I was like, dude, before the first play even happened, I was like, he's getting sacked.
Yeah, it
He's
was.
taking us out. Dude, I can see it right now. Our offensive line has been terribly inconsistent all year. In a big spot with that, where they know we got to pass it, no timeouts left. I was like, they're going to send everyone. He's going to get killed. And I mean, it took till third down, but it happened. I knew it. I knew it. Like as soon as they scored after the 2 minute warning, as soon as they scored, I knew we were losing that game. I knew it was over. If we could have held them to a field goal or something, maybe there would have been a chance. But as soon as they scored the touchdown, I was like, that's it. What the fuck? It's over. And that I'm going to say again, I'm going to come back to coaching because all year people have said like, oh, I think there's an accountability problem on this team, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what? I'll tell you what, Garrett Wilson, you can see how pissed he gets. Like when he had that one drop that he would have scored, we probably would have won. And you look at the plays that he does make. I mean, dude, he's made some fucking catches that, the one this year in Houston, opening day against Buffalo last year, he's made catches that I don't see anybody else making. Like, dude, that guy holds himself accountable. You know what? Jermaine is the same way. I think a lot of our players, they'll hold themselves accountable. So, they don't need a coach there necessarily holding their hand, which not to say the coach shouldn't hold them accountable, but Dude, I keep going back. Like, I don't know why. Every time I hear Sauce talk, I remember this post game with him as a rookie where they asked him about the Jets giving up a bunch of long passes in this game. And he goes, well, I didn't give up any. I mean, we might have given up some passes, but I didn't personally give any up. I fucking hated that answer now. And dude, every time like Booty from the Patriots, you know,
Yep.
catches a 30 something yarder. I mean, and dude, these are all in crunch time too, dude.
Facts.
You know, the Pierce one this past week, like I'm like, dude, you're not only personally you giving up big plays, but you're doing it in the worst, most critical points in games.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
I
know
don't
what? I
care.
don't care if you only allowed 2 catches on the day. If one of them is a 58 yarder with 30 seconds left, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Dude.
and like I said about the other guys, I think they hold themselves accountable. I don't think Sauce does. And even his recent comments, oh, well, that tackle didn't cost us the game. No, dude, but it allowed them to score, which put us in a deeper hole, which made it harder on us. Like, I don't think he holds himself accountable. And I like Sauce. He's a good kid. He's a real good player. But Sauce is kind of grabby, and he's not like Revis. And honestly, if I was a team, which I've seen it from Alex Pierce. I saw it with Tank Dell. Guys that are just pure speed, they can outrun DJ Reed and Sauce. Guys can burn us with pure speed. You know, good route runner, whatever, Sauce will stick to him like glue. But pure speed guys, we have trouble with. If I was playing the Jets, I'd run a bunch of go routes and use the speed. And then I would tell my receivers, every time you make a break as hard as you can, as aggressively as you can, and put distance between you and Sauce, because he's going to grab you every time, and let's start getting those calls on him.
Well,
I mean, I would have my receivers exaggerate their breaks just to make him grab, because for the first time this year, he's getting called a lot. And let's be honest, his whole career, what have we heard other fans bitching about? Oh, that guy from the Jets, he's fucking grabs. He grabs everybody. Fucking, that should have been PI. We've heard that his whole career. Now, all of a sudden, it's gone from that should have been PI to it is.
Yes.
So,
and that's the thing. A deep ball, you can just underthrow the receiver. They're gonna wind up because they have no awareness of the pass. They have no idea if it's underthrown, overthrown. They're just watching the receiver. And it's sad because that's not what you're not paid to just be on someone. Well, I guess all I'm saying is,
well, yeah, out of our 3 great corners, Michael Carter is probably the best at getting his head around and looking for the ball.
He is. And just disheartening because the things we thought that we were confident in coming into the year are some of the biggest things letting us down. Zerline.
Well, you know what? We've got a good defense, a good defensive system that works, but let's think about it. I mean, that defensive system, it's been exactly the same, just crazy. There's no flexibility or adjustment at all. It's like they're married to that system, and we've seen it. Like, it's like, dude, you can be married to your system, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to have some situational flexibility. Like if something is happening where, like, say one guy is beating you, you let Sauce shadow him. The other thing I can't stand is how much zone we play when we've got these great corners. Like, why the fuck aren't we playing more man?
Yep.
You know, as I blow this thing up and rebuild, I'll tell you what. Yeah. First of all, I would want to poach Kevin Mawai as an offensive line coach because he's the Colts O-line coach right now. And then I would raid the fucking college fucking ranks and steal from FSU and get secondary coach Patrick Surtain Sr. Because that's the other thing I can say about that team is their secondary is really good. And, it's just Florida State. Let me see. Bad offensive line, defensive line had guys that we thought were going to be great that turned out not to be. And we picked the wrong quarterback. I mean, it sounds like the Jets with Zach Wilson. Like, that's the exact scenario that they're going through right now. You picked the wrong quarterback, and now you're stuck with him for the year. That's something else I want to say, though, is to all the people out there, they're like, oh, we just need to draft Cam Ward, and we'll be the dude. Cam Ward, okay, he's looked okay with Miami. I mean, he's actually had a real good year, but if you look at him, not just watching a highlight reel, but looking at all of it, he's barely over 60% completion percentage, and he averages 4 seconds or longer before he releases the ball. Dude, you know what that's going to equate to in the NFL? That guy's going to get fucking killed. You can't sit back there all day and hold the ball the way he does. Like, so for everybody that thinks that kid's going to be the savior, I mean, I'm not trying to bag on the kid. I'm just being honest. Like, this is a shit quarterback class. I wouldn't want any of these guys. Yeah, I'd much happier roll with Jordan Travis before any of these guys.
And you know what? Let's get into that because, well, we're getting to coaching mainly, but like the whole Rex thing and whatnot, we're going there next.
Right.
But I did have a comment here from Yeti I wanted to get to. It says from Yeti, in all seriousness,
I saw that.
I can't wait to hear Rickie speak on Travis. He knows him better than any of us. So here's my question, not about Travis specifically, as more so as far as Travis compared to this class. Like, if Travis was coming out
way better than any of them, hands down.
And Sanders, and I don't know if Alar is coming out or not, but like mix him in with all of those. Where do you put him?
Way better than anybody in this class. Like, not even close. Like if he was in this class and he was healthy, he'd be number 1 overall pick, period. Like, there's not even a question in my mind at all.
Speak on it. Why do you think that?
Dude, he's
tell me like I don't know the guy.
Okay, like watching his whole year, like each year he's gotten better. Each year he's taken the coaching and he's grown. And like, that's what you want from a player. Like, his first year, it was kind of mid. Second year as a starter, 10 wins. Third year as a starter, undefeated season. Okay. During that undefeated season, there's a show that's kind of like One Jets Drive. It's called The Climb. It's a FSU show. They were interviewing the guys and they were like, dude, he comes out here and he works so hard and he puts so much into it. It just makes all of us want to work hard because we don't want to disappoint him. We can tell how much this means to him. And it's like, holy shit. You know what? I don't know if I've heard a comment like that. Like, we don't want to disappoint him because we see it. I mean, like that right there would sell me. But like I said, undefeated season. Before he got hurt, he was the front runner for the Heisman. Like if he had not got hurt, he probably would have been the Heisman winner. And that year, I went to opening day that year. And it was here in Orlando, and it was LSU versus FSU. And I watched him outplay Jaden Daniels in person, watched it with my own 2 eyes, and watched us beat Jaden Daniels for the second time because we beat him the year before, too. And so, for all the people that are loving what Jordan Daniels is doing right now, think about that. Like, that's
what do
cool.
you say? What do you say to drafting another guy to compete with him?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Well, hold on though. In 2025 versus 2026, because I know there's supposed to be some more guys coming in the following year. Like, do you think we need to in 2025, or are you more so, Aaron can buy us a year kind of thing?
You know what? I would say I would say that it really depends how Aaron turns out the rest of this year, as far as my opinion on him. Like, dude, I mean, honestly, I think he's been dealing with a leg injury ever since the Denver game, and I think it's showed.
Yep.
However, that being said, like, I mean, maybe this extra week of rest, he gets healthy and he comes back and we play better down the stretch. And listen, I love Aaron. Okay. He's probably the best quarterback I've ever fucking watched. Like, I remember back when Josh Allen came out in that draft, I was telling my buddy, I was like, dude, with the receivers we have right now that are like smaller speed guys, a guy with a big arm like that would be perfect for the Jets. Like, and he can run. He's mobile. He's not like Lamar Jackson type runner, but he's not like Michael Vick. But he kind of reminds me of a mix between Big Ben and Aaron Rodgers. The way he's got that elusiveness and can scramble like that. But he's a big kid and can move like that. And dude, I was so mad when we took Darnold. I was like, first of all, USC quarterbacks, you always think you're going to get Carson Palmer and you end up with Matt Leinart or Matt Barkley. Like, I hate fucking USC quarterbacks. And I said Caleb Williams is a fucking bum and he's got teammates walking off the field on him already. So thank you, Caleb Williams, for proving my point on that one. But Andy had only had 1 year of starting experience too, Darnold, when we drafted him. 1 year as a starter. Like,
Back to the Aaron thing and him playing better the next 6 weeks. Like, do you think?
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd have him. Yeah, in a perfect world, I'd have him here next year, and he could be our bridge. That's what I really want.
But here's my question though. Here is the chart from last week. He only attempted one pass beyond 11 yards. Do you think that's solely related to the leg injuries? Do you think it's related to his lack of trust in the O-line, which is most likely because of Tyron Smith? Or do you think that he's washed? Do you think he's washed?
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure he took a shower probably before and after the game. I hate that word washed. Yes, he looks very cleansely. He looks like he has good hygiene, folks. I agree. At any rate, no, I don't think so. But I think some of it is mental. I think part of it is because, dude, there's times when you see him rush some passes, like where it almost looks like he's trying to hurry and get rid of it because he thinks he's about to get hit, but he's not. Like, I think Aaron is seeing ghosts. I think he's feeling pressure that's not there sometimes because he gets it so often. And granted, it's been a little bit better, like I honestly think that with Olu starting, I think that's going to improve going down the stretch. So I'm looking forward to that. Olu has actually played pretty well. I mean, he did have that one penalty that was a killer, but aside from that, he has actually improved that spot for us. So if there's any like silver lining to anything that's going on, I would say that's one really good thing is he has looked really good.
Here's
going back real quick. Going back real quick to Travis. I hate it like when people like Jake say like, I don't expect much from him because he's a 5th round pick. No, he's not a 5th round pick. He is a 1st or 2nd round pick that got hurt. So we got him in the 5th round. I think that's an important distinction to make. He is not a 5th round talent. He's a 1st or 2nd rounder that we got only because he was hurt. And
I remember when he was hurt, he was projected to be right there with a lot of those guys. I do know that. I mean, I think he's one of the. Think about it this way: 6 quarterbacks went in the first 12 picks. I think he's one of them.
Oh yeah, listen, he definitely would have went ahead of Bo Nix or what's the other bum that went to Atlanta?
Penix. Oh, you calling my boy Penix a bum?
they're just
Hey,
not as they're just not as good in comparison. They're just not as good
okay,
as
I'll
I
give you
shouldn't
it.
say bum. Dude, you know what? That kid was an accomplished college athlete. I'm sure he works his
College.
ass off, and he made it to the NFL. So no, he's not. He's not a bum. He's not a bum. I was being harsh with.
No, hey, you could be right. I do like his situation. That doesn't mean that he'll come out of it. But hey, we saw him
Right.
last week. He threw a couple nice passes, but like again, like I think all these guys need time. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'll tell you right now. Like it now, the NFL is different from college. In college, I would have told you Jordan Travis is just as good, if not better, than Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a lot bigger kid than Jordan Travis is. Okay, so we'll have to see with the NFL beating how they hold up under that. But I'll tell you right now, take Jaden Daniels out of the equation. Jordan Travis was easily better than every quarterback in that class. He's light years ahead of anything that's in this year's class. And I'll tell you right now, you could stick him in the starting NFL lineup right now, and he's going to be better than Bryce Young is in Carolina. I'll guarantee that.
hey, Yeti asked for a pro comp of Travis.
I've heard a lot of people say Tyrod Taylor, like young Tyrod Taylor, which I don't think that's a bad comp. Oh, I'm gonna get fucking killed for this. I know.
Hey, it doesn't have to
But
be. It doesn't have to be an active player. It could be like a Doug Flutie or
oh no, it's an active player.
don't say Mahomes.
I have to point out some very, very big distinctions, though. It is Mahomes, believe it or not. Just,
Good.
just because of playing style.
Okay.
His
All right.
arm is not as strong as Mahomes. He's not quite as accurate as Mahomes. But dude, some of the crazy like off schedule stuff and shit, like dude, that just, I mean, it really does. That was what it reminds me of when I watch him running around like that. And he's a better runner than Mahomes is. But the passing stuff, he's not on that level, and I know that. So I would say Patrick Mahomes with a weaker arm that's a little bit less accurate, but a better runner. So,
As
but like I said,
as much of
those are
a
big distinctions. Those are big
yeah,
differences.
definitely, and that's the
So
thing.
I'm
Yeah,
not by any means calling him Patrick Mahomes, but I'm just saying the playing style, when you watch him, it'll remind you of him. It really does. Just body style, the way dude, he looks a little bit like Patrick Mahomes too. You see him with the helmet off. Maybe
except he
that's
doesn't.
part of it too. I don't know, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
mainly the off schedule shit. Like when things break down and he starts scrambling everywhere.
yeah,
Uh, Dude, one of my favorite plays ever, and we just happen to be
improvisation.
beating Anthony Richardson and Florida in that game. Was dude, there was a play that you can look it up on YouTube. It's like Crazy Escape versus Florida or something is the title of it. Which, like, dude, everything breaks down and he's like scrambling around in the pocket, like not going very far, like staying in the same area. But like one guy grabs him and he like pulls away from it, and then another guy, and then he like breaks the pocket and goes out towards the right. Like two guys miss him, another guy dives for his legs and misses. And then he turns the corner and goes upfield. And dude, I'm telling you, like 11 people probably had the chance to tackle him and couldn't. And he takes it all the way in. And at the end, and like the announcer is fucking great. He's like, tries to escape, does escape, turns the corner to the goal line, Sports Center top 10 touchdown. And the guy's just going nuts. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, down at the one. And I'm like, oh, you're fucking joking me. And they did. They called him down at the one. Personally, I think the ball broke the plane before his knee dragged the turf. But the very next play, quarterback sneak up the gut and he scored anyway. So it didn't matter. But that escape, dude, that like we thought we saw some good escapes from Zach. Like, this is one of the craziest escapes you'll ever see. Like, literally, I'm telling you, like, there's 11 missed tackles on this play. It's friggin' nuts.
You said it
But,
against the Gators.
yes.
I have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, it's I'll shoot it to you in Discord if you want.
What do
I'll
you
find
think?
it.
What do you think of the Jordan Love comp?
Again, probably a little bit of a weaker arm, but a lot better runner, a lot more mobile.
Fair. I hope he's taken this time. I have no idea what he's done the last few months. Honestly, if we lose to Seattle, I kind of want to give him the last couple games,
Well,
assuming
we
that
can't
he's.
because he's when I'd art him, it was for the year. Like, he literally can't play this year.
Oh man.
Which listen, that sucks in a way because of the way the year's gone. And I would like to see him myself. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, I wanted us to make that move because I guarantee you, look at the other teams that are having quarterback problems. If he was on our practice squad, he'd be on another team right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And sorry, chat, it dropped connection again, so I got to go to my phone to see what you guys are saying. Mike D's nuts. Have a good night, brother. Good luck with everything on your end. We'll talk more.
Yeah, have a good night, Mike.
Infrared was the one that mentioned Jordan Love, so shout out to you. Wild Wave's joking that he's probably wondering why he got drafted here. I don't think so. I mean, I think the writing was on the wall that we'd only have Aaron for so long. Let me ask you this, though. If we lose to Seattle, is Aaron playing longer? Because, I mean, that's our next
I want to
game.
be honest. The only person that really, truly knows whether or not Aaron's going to be here beyond this year is probably him.
Yeah.
You know, will he want to play if things just say we win one game the whole rest of the year or something? Does he want to play after this year at all? Do we want him to? Like, I don't know. Me, I'm completely on the fence. Like, in a perfect world, he gets healthy, plays better down the stretch, and gives us some hope. And then we can have him for a bridge quarterback next year again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, if the rest of the year is a disaster and it's the same or worse, I don't want him to come back.
Well, and it's not even like, yes, his choice matters, but if he chooses yes, then we also have to say yes. Like,
right.
It has to be both parties.
I agree. And the same thing with the new coach coming in. Like, the new coach has got to be willing to work with Rodgers, and Rodgers has got to be willing to say, okay, I'll run their offense, or I'll agree with whatever they say. Like, it's everything has to be mutual. And when it comes to the new coach, like, the new coach will be like, you know, either Aaron's got to play my system or I don't want him. And it may come down to that. Like, I honestly, that's what I would say. Like, especially if we're confident in the hire, like, say we get a Ben Johnson or somebody in here. The last thing you want to do is get a great candidate like that with all kinds of potential and then handcuff them to somebody else's system that we've seen isn't working.
Facts.
That's all there is to it.
Well, the other thing is,
it would have to be mutual.
I mean, I'll tell you this thing: if he's not back next year, I want him back just to change this taste in my mouth. Does that make sense? Like,
yes, yeah. Oh, dude, listen, and
to get some return of investment, like,
it's funny because I was talking to somebody online just before your show, and it wasn't a football conversation. It was a merchandise conversation, but it goes back to the same thing. And I'm like, dude, I had these shirts that look like concert shirts. And on the back, it says Revenge Tour. And it's got the town and the date, like a tour shirt with our schedule. And I was like, cool idea, bad fucking timing. Like, people aren't lining up to buy shirts that say Revenge Tour. Like, the only people that the Jets got revenge on this year was us fans for fucking watching them. Like,
Yeah.
Like I said, great idea, not selling like hotcakes. I do appreciate the people that do bought them because it helps me, and I appreciate it. And they are really fucking cool. I mean, they're cool shirts. They look cool. But like I said, bad timing. I would like nothing more than for Rodgers to get a little revenge and a little redemption. Dude, he's such a good player. It's really hard to watch him struggle like this. And dude, one of my best friends is like a Bears fan, and I used to bitch about Tom Brady, and he'd be like, "Oh, dude, don't talk to me. We got Aaron Rodgers in my division. It's the same thing." And I was like, "No, it's not. Aaron Rodgers isn't going on to win the Super Bowl every fucking single year. It is not the same thing. Yes, he kicks your ass twice a year, and you sit at home while they make the playoffs. I get that. But he ain't going the distance every year. It ain't the same thing, my friend. No, it is not." But dude, for years I had to listen to that. And I've watched Aaron Rodgers dissect so many other teams, and God, every time he trots out there for us, like, still, I'm hoping to see that. Like, it's almost like I'm expecting it, and then I see what I'm actually seeing, and it's like, oh man, like then, dude, if I had to sum up this season, that would be it. Oh man.
Hey, all I want to say is there's not 0% yet. There's 4% chance of anything happening. After the Seattle game, I will be totally moved on, but I do have to see that 9th loss. Like, I'm not going to look at drafts, at mock drafts, at like head coach, GM. For one, we don't even know which ones are going to be available yet. Like, we put so much stock into this season. It just feels like mailing it in before
Yeah,
our next loss.
I can't do that. I can't do that during a season.
Squeeze everything you can
Now,
out of it.
I did the other day. Go over some of the top prospects and just see who's there and what the potential is.
Yeah.
Only so that I could have an informed, educated answer to when idiots start going, "Oh, we just need to draft Cam Ward." Dude, not 7th. He's probably going to be a top 2 pick. We're not getting him at 7. As a matter of fact, if we draft 7 or later, we're probably not getting any of the top 3 quarterbacks, maybe.
Chaos had a good video today too about he was talking about Penn State's Alar, but he did talk about Ward and how if you cover his first read, he's an entirely different quarterback. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. In fact, I want to go to this comment from Sean and get your take while I just grab another brew. What do you think?
I'm gonna grab a Coke. Keep talking. I can hear you.
All right, and then it's my turn. I want to know what you think of Ulbrich. Not as a head coach, but about. I mean, obviously a new GM, new head coach. He's gone. He's failed as a head coach, but
Yes.
Sean wants you to entertain this. Would you take him back as a defensive coach? I mean, hey, who knows what Rex would do for one, right? Or
No.
is he done with us? He was good as a defensive coach, Sean says. Thoughts on that?
He's done with us. And I like Ulbrich. As a person, I like him. As a coach, I like him. As far as being able to relate to the players, having a good relationship with his players. However, there's definitely there's definitely got to be an accountability problem on this team. The lack of discipline. You know, we're still making the same mistakes we made when Salah was there. As a matter of fact, the defense has been worse. Now, I will say, uh, as far as the defense goes, a lot of that I think has to do with CJ Mosley not being out there, more so even than Ulbrich leading it, because I said it from the beginning. Everybody said, "Oh well, Sherwood's, you know, he's young, he's fast, you know, he's better than Mosley." No, he's not better than Mosley. He's young, he's fast, he's an aggressive hitter, and that's all good. But Mosley, being the leader, he can diagnose what the offense is doing. He gets everybody lined up in the right position, and he is the unquestioned leader of our defense. And I think a lot of people read that, they repeat it, but they don't really know what that means or understand what that means. Uh, you know, if he's the heart of our defense, well, does our defense not look like it's missing heart right now? It sure as hell does to me. So yeah, I think that's a lot bigger factor than people think. But at the end of the day today, you know, it's all about production, and we're not getting the results. Whatever he's doing behind the scenes, we don't seem prepared. We don't seem motivated. We keep making the same mistakes. It's getting worse, not better. And, you know, as much as I like him as a guy, and the other thing is that rigid, married to the system, like on both offense and defense. Like, dude, you've got to be able to adjust in the NFL. And if what you're doing isn't working, why wouldn't you want to change, for one? And, you know, this idea that we're just going to keep doing the same thing, but if we can do it a little bit better, it'll work. Like, you know, no, man, like you've got to be able to change and adapt. And as much as I hate the Patriots, that's one thing I liked about them. Some weeks they'd play more man, some weeks more zone. Each game plan was different for a different opponent. And it's like, you know, if all you do is play the Tampa 2 all day, then, you know, teams are going to know what I mean. And that's the thing, as good as our defense is, it's been that same good defense for years. There's so much tape on us, and teams have figured out how to play us. And like I said, a combination of that, along with, like I said, Mosley's the heart of our defense, and right now our defense doesn't have any heart, and it looks like it. Him not being out there, and I questioned that from the beginning. Can Sherwood fill that role? Can he get guys lined up? Can he make all the calls on defense? And obviously the answer to that is no.
And we missed
That's worrisome.
Well, and that's
We're gonna need another linebacker that can be that you know, quarterback on defense that can make all the calls. Because as much as I like Quincy, like, dude, I love Quincy. He's just a good-hearted, good guy, and I love listening to him talk. But when you listen to him talk, he's not like that motivational speaker. He's not a real, you know, super educated, well-spoken, like a cerebral Aaron Rodgers type. He's just a down-to-earth, like, hell, I seen that guy coming. I was going to knock his head off. And I love that. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And I love his enthusiasm, but he's not that vocal leader. We're going to need somebody to replace that role.
Well, and that's the thing about linebackers. There's going to be a lot of change moving forward because, I mean, Mosley, he's old. He's getting old. I think he is as big of a loss this year as you're saying. We only really had the only full game he played was week 1. Ever since then, it's been 30 snaps a couple times and nothing else. And Sherwood, great. Quincy, here's the thing. Next year, going into this year, actually, we said after this year, Quincy's going to need a raise. We underpaid him, right? After this year, Sherwood is set to walk. After this year, Mosley, he's guaranteed like 11 million.
He ain't
If you
getting
want
it.
Yeah, well, no, he's guaranteed 11 million.
Oh well, yeah.
But if you keep him, it's 5 more. So, are you going to pay him 11 to walk, or are you going to pay him 16 to stay?
I think he's going
You're
to
only
retire.
you only well, you're paying him 11. He restructured, making his cap hit this year less, but you're paying him 11 next year. So what I'm saying is, if you bring him back, he's only 5 more million, but that spot is filled. If you let him walk, you do save that 5. But then, are you paying Sherwood, or is he gone? And are you giving Quincy a raise? We're gonna have a nightmare, because then Reed's walking, Tony Adams walking, Kinlaw's gone. Like, it's a whole new defense, and yeah,
Well,
people say,
Kinlaw
oh,
can be
you can
gone.
get up to
Kinlaw can
you
be
can
gone.
you can get up to 80 million free, but when you have to replace 9 starters on the defense, you got to replace 5 or 6 on the offense. 80 million is nothing.
I would. I might go. I might go free agent with the linebacker, but safeties rarely does one even go in the first round. Safety isn't a highly coveted position. It's an undervalued position by this team. That's one thing JD did that I hated. He didn't value the safety position, wouldn't pay one, wouldn't bring one in. Like, dude, at the beginning of the year, fucking, I wanted that. We're all in. Great. Fucking, let's take some of that 35 mil Aaron gave back and bring in fucking Buda Baker. Because guess what? When you got really good safeties that nobody can complete a pass on, teams are just going to target the deep middle and pick on those fucking safeties if they suck. Like, we saw that when we had Revis and Cromartie. We had not good safeties, and teams fucking went after that. I just don't see being all in and then having one spot that's a fucking weakness that you're willfully ignoring. If we got great guys at every position, why do we have to say every position but safety? Because our GM doesn't really care about safeties. Like, fuck that. Care about everything. Care about every single spot.
Well,
which hopefully
back
our
to the
next
point.
GM will.
I mean, what are you doing at linebacker though? Like, are you? That's the question.
Probably.
Like, are you letting Sherwood walk? Are you?
Yes.
Are you? Okay.
Unless
So
he's
gone.
willing to take a really cheap backup deal, like yeah,
Okay.
I'd let him walk.
Are you
Tony
trying
Adams, I
to
might.
trade Mosley? Linebacker. Let's stick with linebacker. We're on linebacker right
Well,
now.
since we're on the hook for his money, I guess he can come back. I mean, honestly, I would hope that he would retire, but I maybe not with that kind of money. So
right.
Mosley's back.
Quincy. Maybe we keep the linebacker intact. Maybe Sherwood walks, but Mosley and Quincy 1 year while we rebuild everything around it.
Yeah, rebuild everything.
And
Yeah, definitely. Now,
yeah.
I will say, when I looked over the prospects the other day, dude, like, listen, we're with our needs, offensive line, which this is not a good offensive line class either. Looking at our needs and looking at what we're drafting, like, kept thinking, like, damn, this would be the time to like trade back a couple of picks. I know everybody wants a big splash, but I'd honestly trade back a couple of picks if I could, pick up extra capital. And then my draft pick, if I had to say right now, is this kid Tyquil Williams, who's the defensive tackle from Ohio State. That's the best run stuffing defensive tackle in the entire country and the best one in this class. He's projected to be a top 20 pick, but not like top 7 or 8 where we'd probably be picking. So keeping that in mind, honestly, I'd move back, and that's what I would do in the first round. If I had to say, like, I hate even thinking about that shit, but like I said, I wanted to have an educated answer back for these people that, think we're going to draft Shador and have his dad be our coach and be the next great thing. Like, oh, shut the fuck up, please.
Drafting in the top half of round 1 next year is a luxury we aren't going to have. We have to demand a slide back, in my opinion. We're going to have so many holes, and we are not going to be the attraction that we were 6 months ago. Like,
and I'll tell you what, if we could pick up another, like, say, late first or early second or something for that move back, I'd use that other pick on a fucking the nastiest, meanest guard I could find. And AVT, been nice knowing you. Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's a good kid, but post injury, he has not been the same. He's been one of the weaker parts of this offensive line, and I'm sure it's not on purpose. But at the end of the day, it's about production. And John Simpson has been better than him this year. And
we picked up his option for next year.
We get a nasty guard to go next to Olu and just revamp that side of the line, and then we'll have Tipman, a new guard. Olu, we'll have like almost all rookies.
We're going to have AVT next year. We picked up his option, and he's going to get $15 million from us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Unless you want to give him a long-term deal now, barely giving.
Hell no, no way, no way.
So maybe you wait on the guard till the year after, maybe, because you got to have AVT next year. He's starting. But
you know what,
DJ, you're going to need a corner.
if Moses doesn't improve, I would almost say fuck that. Well, since AVT's getting paid already, that's good guard money, but it's cheap tackle money. Slide him out to the right, still fucking draft that fucking guard, and there you go. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
That could work. That could work. I just worry, man, because I mean, we just got to come to terms that we're going to win even less games next year, because as it stands now, Sauce is our best player in the secondary. Sauce is our best player in the secondary. Talk to me.
You know what? We could use a top pick on a corner to replace Reed. Now that I really think about it. Yeah, what if we got a top 10, what if we got a top 10 fucking pick corner to put opposite Sauce? Somebody
That's my move.
That's
man.
good.
I thought about it this year, but we couldn't.
I did too. I really like Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. He was the move. He was. But dude, he went all the way into 20s. Like, we could have really.
Yeah, I know.
We could have traded back and still got him. But I do like a.
Yeah, but I don't want to be like Allen and say, "Oh, we could have done this after it's already happened."
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah. Fair.
But
I mean, I was.
You know, so much of what we're talking about comes back to coaching.
Well, a
lot of I guess what we do is going to depend on who the coach and the GM is.
I think what we're coming to realize, though, is with or without Aaron, we're rebuilding, and we're not going to be trying to assemble the perfect team. Right?
You know what? I don't look at it so much as a rebuild, but like retooling, because we're not gutting the team. You know, we're not tearing it all down. The roster is pretty much in place. We do have, you know, the question of quarterback. We've certainly got a couple of questions and things that need to be addressed, but it's not a complete rebuild. And I look at it like, you know, maybe there's some coaches and coordinators that would go, "Ooh, I could do something with Aaron Rodgers," you know. But that's going to, like I said, that's going to have to be mutual. We'll see how that turns out. But the team as a whole, like, you know, there's going to be naysayers of, well, we'll definitely not get this guy or that guy. Who's going to want to come to the Jets? The Jets are a mess. Woody Metals, blah, blah, all this horse shit. Bullshit, dude. Like, head coaching jobs don't grow on trees. There's only so many of these jobs. They pay extremely well. And you know what? People like that said there's no way Aaron Rodgers will come here for those same reasons. Aaron Rodgers is here. Tyron Smith's not going to come here for all those same reasons. Guess what? He came here. Aaron Rodgers said, I looked at this team, how good the defense is, the weapons they have on offense. Like, this team is built to win now. And you know what? That's the thing, is this team is built to win now. If we had the right leadership and the right plan, I mean, that's what pisses me off. All those one score games that we lost, we should have won a lot of those games. And it's encouraging on one hand because the potential is there, but it pisses me off in the other because we're not fulfilling that potential. That's what makes this year even harder. Like, if we just had a bad team, like, you'd expect to lose, but this team is so fucking good. Like, I expect to would win every week. But we're finding ways to beat ourselves. And that's the worst part of this year is, we're not going out and getting beat every week. We're beating ourselves every week. And that's even harder to watch.
It really is, because like it's going to make the talent evaluation this spring that much more difficult. It really is.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what moves are made. Like I said, like, if we get an offensive minded coach, maybe that top pick isn't a defensive player like we're all expecting it to be. Like, with the Jets, it seems like, most times that's what it is, or O-line when it's necessary. But, that's why I was so happy when we drafted Garrett. Like, I mean, when did the Jets ever draft a receiver in the top 10? Like, never. Like Keyshawn, maybe that's it. Like, we just don't. And I wanted Garrett so bad. Like, yeah, I remember I wanted Garrett at 4 and Jermaine at 10. And then when we walked away with both of them and Sauce and Brees in that draft, I was just out of my mind happy. But dude, yeah, that's the thing, is we got a team that's built to win now. And, we just need the right leadership in the right direction.
So here's the thing. Hold on. I don't know why I'm getting an echo from you. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you for a second, Ricky. All right. Here's the thing for me though. We brought in like 25 free agents last spring because we were a good destination to have, like, to come to ring chase. That made it feasible to fill all these holes on the roster. However, this spring, if you want to retool, sure. I don't think you can retool to the point of ring chasing, though. I think you can retool to just make the best team you can and maybe end the playoff drought. But nobody's like, we're not going to attract the same level of talent that we did last year. So if a Sherwood walks, if a Reed walks, Tyron Smith, hey, don't let the door hit you, Tyron Smith. But like, Tony Adams, if you let him walk, if Eccles walks, who is set to, Chuck Clark's set to walk, Mills is set to, like, so many key contributors are set to walk. I think we maybe attract back in half of them. Hopefully, maybe we grab a couple more in free agency. The hope is you draft a few more, but in my opinion, you got to trade down with your first to even get enough day 2 picks to fill the other holes and hope you hit on all of them. Are you going to be satisfied with just ending the playoff drought, to keep Aaron one more year? Is Aaron going to be satisfied to just end the playoff drought, or is it either championship caliber team again or bust? Do you care? Do you think Aaron will care? Let me know.
Oh, I definitely think he cares. I mean, I definitely know that he would like to have that second ring. I care. Like, obviously, the goal is to go the distance every year. But like, would I be happy if we made the playoffs? Like, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want to say that I would be satisfied, but yeah, I would be. Yeah, I would be. I'd be happy if I saw us back in the playoffs again. Um, you know, when I started being a Jets fan, we were in the playoffs damn near every year. You know, it seemed like we were in 2 or 3 years and then miss a year, in 2 or 3 years, then miss a year. And, you know, the late 90s and the whole 2000s were kind of like that. And when we eventually had a drought that was more than a year, we ended up following that with bringing in Rex and obviously had the back-to-back title games. You know, and then that's where our drought started. But man, like when I started being a Jets fan, every single game I was convinced we were going to win. Like I never had any doubt. And you know, then we've come into this long stretch of things not being on our side and not turning out well. And I still have like that old energy though. Like, and I haven't had it for a long time, but with this current roster, I've had it again. Like I still go into every game like feeling like we could win. But now it's like I go into every game thinking like we could definitely win this game, but we probably won't. And I hate feeling like that. But that's like
It's
I
funny.
said, man, we've got a team that's built to win now, but we're just not. We're finding ways to lose. And when you keep finding ways to lose and keep finding ways to cost yourself games, but you're the more talented team every single week, then again, that's got to fall on leadership.
I wonder too, like this team, Garrett, Brees, Jermaine when he was here, Sauce, like all this young Quinnen. None of them have ever tasted sustained winning to know what it's like to not want to give it up. You know, I feel like if they tasted early success this year, they would have held on to it stronger. But
Well,
like
you know
they've
what though?
never,
All those guys came from winning programs though, so they do know what winning's like, just not on this level. And if you think that
yeah,
doesn't eat at them, it definitely does. Like it's got to be bugging them. And think about Garrett, like the incredible plays he's made, and in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking that all that I did for nothing because it just
yeah.
doesn't matter. I
We're
just
at
I
a
just worry that
critical point.
I've worried that those guys have been Jets for so long, and you know, how do I word this? That they've gotten used to the losing,
Yeah,
like where
that's
it's become. I don't want them to be Jets for so long that losing becomes normal and they get
they're
used
okay
to
with
it.
it. Yeah,
Yes, I want them to be pissed off every single time.
right.
I know that they are, but you know, the way that I say it, you know, it probably sounds more drastic or exaggerated than it is. But yeah, dude, I just don't want them like on a subconscious level getting used to that shit.
Right.
Where not that it's acceptable or okay, but just that it's expected or that's normal. Like no, that shouldn't be normal. Um, yeah, it's
It's tough.
it's
It's
crazy.
tough, man. Because like,
And dude, I don't see that in Garrett. Like some people be like, oh, you know, now Garrett's a malcontent. You know, he was. Dude, he's pissed off because he lost. The guy's a competitor. That's exactly what you want to see. Like, or actually people see what they want to see, but I'm seeing what's actually going on. But like I said earlier, like I know that guy holds himself accountable. We don't need a coach to do that. And most
But
of our guys are
here's
like that, except Sauce.
separated
Like,
though.
dude,
Like
I don't know. Like
you want to
what I
say,
was just
well,
talking
hold on,
about.
Rickie. Like you're saying that some guys are individually not not okay with losing, but like that's you got to be a team, not really like. How do we get there? Like we have a collection of guys. Some are okay. Like some have lost so long they don't care. And then you got Devontae saying this week that like he's glad to be here because in Oakland he felt like they didn't even have a chance a lot of the time. And at least here he feels like we have a chance any given Sunday. How do you get them to show up in the first half? How do you get the defense to show up? Dude, all you got to do is stop the Colts one time in the second half of the fourth quarter. You win the game, and they don't. They don't. Like,
I, you know,
as a team,
I don't
they don't
know.
have that.
And I was gonna say like what I was talking about earlier when I felt like Sauce maybe is not holding himself accountable, like he thinks he's above, criticism or anything else. Like dude, if there's a player that I worry about like thinking that losing is the norm and it just is what it is, it would be him. Like because I don't hear him saying like, anything like we have to come together as a team and get this figured out. Like he's just always like, well, me personally or what I did, I can do no wrong. But like he's almost like deflecting, like he's trying to put it on everybody else but him. And dude, I don't know. Like to me, I think that kid's got an accountability problem. And if there was anybody that I would worry about that mentality with, it would be him. Because like to me, I think like as long as he thinks like, oh, I only gave up 2 catches, my stat line looks good. Like he thinks that this is somehow okay because he individually was good. No, dude. Like I don't care how goodly. You know, at the end of the day, if you, like I said, if you only give up 2 catches, but one of them's a 50-yarder with 30 seconds left to lose a fucking game, you've got to, even if you only look at the stats, when you put context to them, they're not favorable for him this year. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I guess, again, leadership, how do we get these guys motivated? Like, why do we come out looking like we're unprepared? We've got to have the right people in place to get these guys motivated. And, I was watching a video
Good.
earlier this year. It was one of those Baldy's breakdown things on our offensive line. And he was like, look at this guy. Like he should be, going to the right, like blocking this tackle. And instead he's like, going and helping to like triple team a guard that like unnecessarily, he's like not even blocking the assignment right. Like it's one thing to not block your assignment properly, but he's not even doing the assignment right. And I'm watching this and going, what the hell, man? Like dude, Keith Carter has got to go. Our offensive line, like it's, that directly relates to coaching and, the not being motivated. Those should be our biggest, nastiest guys, our meanest guys. And
They're
they're
getting there
not.
now, but it took way too long, and I think Tyron Smith should have been pulled way sooner.
Yep. And
After he got Aaron annihilated against Denver, he should have been yanked.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like I've said before, regime, whatever, they stick with guys way too long. And I
Yep.
understand wanting to be loyal to your guys and all that shit, but I mean,
Rex
when
Ryan
literally
used to do
costing
that.
us games and getting other people hurt, like, dude, like when I'm at work, I tell guys all the time, I don't care if you're out back smoking weed. I don't care if you're on your cell phone half the night, whatever. As long as you do your job and either A, I don't have to do your job for you, or B, what you do doesn't affect my job and make it harder, I don't care what the hell you do. But when I start having to do your job or it makes my job harder, I've got a problem. And
Yeah.
guess what? Tyron Smith not doing his job and getting Aaron hurt, it's affecting our outcome. It's affecting Aaron's ability to do his job. It's not good. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we got to
Time for
quit sticking
Olu
with
now.
guys who are costing us games. We've got to quit
Yes.
sticking behind guys who are costing us games.
Michael
That's
Clemens, Greg Zerline, Michael
yes. Michael
Clemens,
Clemens could
Tyron
not set
Smith.
the edge
Yeah.
to save his life on a run. And I mean, sometimes it's
Do,
different things. Sometimes he just gets outran. Sometimes he just gets blown off the ball. But whatever the reason is, he's just consistently getting beat. And
yeah.
yeah, it's bad.
Here's an option though. Like I said, we have a 4% playoff chance. Do you think we can make that 100 if we go this route, Ricky?
No, no, I don't think so.
Dude, I can't, man. People are trying to do it, and I'm like, no. Send him to Dallas. Send him to Dallas. Daniel Jones does not need anywhere near this team. Hell
No,
no.
no, no, I'm definitely not for that. Daniel Jones is that classic, like, you got one decent year out of somebody and then they got overpaid. Like, God,
Sanchez.
there's, yeah, well, there's bunches of examples of that. Like it especially happens with like backups sometimes, where like a backup comes in for 1 year, like Nick Foles. Backup had that run with the Eagles, they won the Super Bowl, and then next year he gets a big payday, and then they figure out, oh yeah, that's why he was a backup. It happened. It
Yep.
happened to Buffalo when they had what the hell was his name? Rob Johnson or whatever. He was the backup in Jacksonville. Burnell got hurt. He had one good year, and then Buffalo
Yep.
signs him to be the starter. And the guy would just sit back there and get annihilated because he would rather keep a high completion percentage than throw the ball away. Idiot. And then
Yep.
he just ended up losing his job to Doug Flutie of all people.
Scott Mitchell, do you know him? I don't.
Oh, what's up, Jay? Yeah, at any rate, yeah, there's
Oh, Jay, what's up, man?
there's a bunch of examples of that. You know, you see the backup play good for 1 year, and you think, hell, Mike White, for that matter. Uh, people were willing to anoint Mike White the savior. If only we had Mike. But dude, you know what? There's a reason he was a backup. He was not the most durable guy. I like Mike White.
So do I. I really want him to get. He doesn't even have to get a QB1 opportunity. I just want him to get a good QB2, like backup Gardner Minshew or backup Mayfield. Somewhere he'll get in somewhere. Like
Shit, you know what? If I'm a backup in the league, I'm going to Miami. I know I'm going to play eventually.
he was down there though, and he lost his job to freaking
I
Skylar
know.
Thompson. Are you kidding me? And as soon as they
Dude,
ship
that
him
had to
off,
be
Skylar gets
that
in.
had to be a money thing. You know what? After they gave Waddle that big deal and they're already on the hooks for the Tyreek deal and they got to pay Tua, like
Yeah.
that had to have been a money move. It had to, and they're like way overpaying Jalen Ramsey, which I love Ramsey, but dude, I mean, he's at the end of his deal. Like there's no two ways about that. Now, if I was Jalen Ramsey and I didn't have Jalen Ramsey's ego, what I would do would be to fucking move into fucking play safety and extend my career for another couple of years. You might not be one of the best corners in the league, but I bet you could be one of the best free safeties.
Fair. Here's a question. Do you toy with trying to tag DJ Reed and see if you can trade him? Or, I mean,
No,
otherwise he's walking. I mean, he's walking.
out of respect for the player, I probably wouldn't do that,
Good
especially
answer.
not to tag him and to trade him. Like he's going to look at like you cost me my chance to finally cash in after how hard I worked, and now you're going to send me to some place I don't want to go.
To
Yeah,
negotiate with one team instead of 30.
if I
Yeah.
tagged him, it would be to keep him. Period. But
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. Not for what the number would be.
No. Same here. 20 mil. Yeah, no. Some final nuggets though, because we are winding down here. Rickie, we went for 2 hours straight. Here's something I wanted to add. So I made this the other day. In the past 6 weeks, this guy has been given 8 opportunities to convert with 1 or 2 yards to go. 8 in a row he has converted. And out of those 8, even one was a touchdown. What I'm saying is he's gotten so good at short yardage conversions. What what do you think his ceiling is? And also, why the hell did we direct snap it to Conklin instead of giving it to the guy that's converted 8 in a row of them on 4th and 1 last week?
You know what? Okay, and I'll divide this into sections with as far as his production, like I would, or his ceiling rather. You know what? That's exactly why we brought him in here. Change of pace, goal line, short yardage, and yeah, the guy's a bulldozer. So at least the coaches are using him properly finally, because they weren't at the beginning of the year. Now it seems like they've at least figured out how to use him. So good for them. They're at least doing one thing right. As far as his ceiling, like, dude, I don't see him being like that bell cow, like every down back. But for the role that we have him for, I think he's perfect. And now, as far as the Conklin thing, honestly, I don't hate the play call because of everything we were just talking about. Like, if we use him in that role all the time and he's good at it, teams are going to expect that's what we're going to do. They're going to expect that we hand him the ball. The Conklin play, it isn't bad. It's just a bad play call. It's just that it was poorly executed. The O-line that did not do their job.
They didn't get a push at all. Yeah.
No. And so, it made what could have looked like a really cool play look like a disaster because we had guys in the backfield almost as soon as the ball was snapped. So, actually A+ D on the execution.
Yep. Agreed. Scott, you're I hope you're joking. Scott says, "Nah, we prefer Conklin get the ball on a sneak."
You
Dude,
know what?
I just want to see the kid. It feels like Braylon Allen cannot get an I formation handoff because who's going to be the fullback, and B, do we even do I formation? I don't think we do.
Um. Oh, what was I thinking?
Putting Conklin under center, told the Colts there's no chance for a pass, and they all came up to yeah. It was very poor execution. You got to mask it a little bit.
You know what? What if we used Braylon Allen as the fullback and had Quinnen fucking run it? One to go.
Damn. You know what? I don't care. Like you can give me what's the guy? Solomon Thomas at fullback. I don't care.
You think he could push his way in there?
here's the thing. Like if one O lineman gets beat, I just don't want him to go straight to the ball carrier. That's all. And because you see how often one of our O linemen get beat, you know.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I don't know. It just would be nice to be adaptable enough to, hey, we want to run I formation. We want to run pony package with both running backs in there. We want to, there's been so much pistol formation, so much shotgun, so little motion. Like, and agreed, if he's back next year, he's got to adapt to the scheme, not the other way around. That's all. Like this is
absolutely.
a failed experiment. I don't care if you win 4 out of 6 down the stretch. Failed experiment.
Well, you know what? It's funny, like because at the beginning of the year there were people going, "Oh, our play calling it is so predictable. There's no creativity." And then this Conklin play happens, and everybody's pissed that we didn't just hand it off. So you can't please everybody.
No.
You know what? At the end of the day, I don't care.
8 in a row, man. 8 in a row.
I don't care if it's a straightforward play or they want to try a trick play. Hey, I just want it to work. I just want results. At the end of the day, I just want results. You know what? As long as we're converting first downs, as long as we're scoring points, and as long as we're winning games, you can take a variety of different roads to get there. Same destination. At the end of the day, as long as we're getting a dub, that's what I care about. So, trick plays are cool. When we ran the Philly special and Zach caught the touchdown. Okay, granted, he does the gritty at the end of it and pulls it off like a champ, him and Berrios. And I'm like, you can sit in front of the mirror and teach yourself to do that, but you can't get your fucking footwork right for an actual play. You fucking jackass.
Dude, I wouldn't even call it a trick play, but the Corley jet sweep was really nice. Like we've done good things.
That was cool. Dude, listen, there was a play that Jordan Travis play from college that, I wish we would run it in our offense. I think I tweeted it to Aaron Rodgers one time. I was like, dude, run this. But it looked like a pitch to the running back who pitches it to the wide receiver. And it's like, the commentator on that play is great too. He's like, pitch to the runner. Oh, nope, it's a reverse. No, it's a flea flicker. And dude, it looks like a reverse, but then the wide receiver pitches it back to the quarterback and Travis just bombs it downfield for like a 40-something yard touchdown. And I was like, dude, with our personnel, you pitch it to Brees, he's a threat. Then it looks like, oh no, it's a reverse to Corley, who's got that speed. And people would probably be like, holy shit. And then he throws it back to Rodgers and he hits Garrett for a deep one. Like, dude, that would be such a sweet fucking play. I wish we would run a play like that.
Dude,
that's like, that was like a crazy variation of the flea flicker that I don't think I've ever seen like the reverse flea flicker like that. But dude, when
No.
you watch how the defense reacts to that, they're like starting to flow that way because of the run, and then the reverse, they just totally bite on it, and it clears out like
And
that
they're
whole
beating
side
over
of
the
the
top.
field. And meanwhile, that receiver's just going deep. Uh, Such a sweet play, and I like real creative plays like that, and we could use some more of that,
Sometimes,
dude. That's one of
yeah,
the reasons that I want like a, you know, Ben Johnson. Like it would be awesome if we could get a guy like that, and it's like all of a sudden, the Jets have their Sean McVay, their young, creative, offensive guy that because with the weapons we have, dude, we could have such a killer offense if we had somebody that knew how to call one.
yes. Feel the vibe. Feel when the defense is telegraphing what they saw on film, because then you bust out something that isn't on film.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Like, I mean, just like when every single play was, run on first and second down and they were loading
Yeah.
the box against Brees. Like, Ye-
Yep.
it was so predictable, and I mean, it has gotten a little bit better since Downing has taken over, but still
It
looks
has.
very predictable. But yeah, I want the creative young offensive mind that's going to be able to use these weapons and do some damage. And dude, I mean, if it was me personally, okay, and say I was Woody Johnson, um, what I would do is since Ray Agnew's son works in our scouting department, I would fucking go through him to get to the dad. I would fucking offer him the biggest pile of money fucking ever to be our fucking GM. And I would bring him in here and then use him and his relationship with Johnson to get Johnson here. I would get Agnew first and then try to get Johnson in the package deal and tell him, we bring you two guys in here. We got a roster that's built to win right now.
Yep.
I mean, dude, like people think, oh, no one's going to come to the Jets. It's a mess. Dude, no, like look how loaded this roster is. I guarantee you that. And that's the thing about coaches. All of them all think they're the smartest guy in the room all the time. Like, so like they're going to look at that and go, shit, yeah, I could do something with that. Like it's the same reason that Rodgers and Tyron Smith both came here. Like this is a team that's built to win now. And yes, we do have a few pieces that's going to get changed out over the next year, but it's not like we're losing Garrett or losing Brees or losing Quinnen or
Yeah.
I mean, the core of the team is still there. Like there's gonna be a lot of candidates that would salivate over that and think like, hell yeah, I could do something. Now I have heard that Ben Johnson knows exactly how hot his name is right now, and that
Oh
if he
yeah.
goes anywhere, he is going to be very, very picky about where he goes.
Selective. Yeah.
But dude, our roster is so loaded that I tend to think that this would be one of the more attractive destinations to go.
Assuming you can keep them all
And
together. You know
especially,
what would
dude,
help?
especially if Woody's going to be out of the country the next 4 years, and he just
Yes.
says, "Hey,
Yes.
I'm going to hire you guys, and I'm just going to let you run with it. I'll be gone. It's your show." And
Yeah. That
yeah,
athletic article maybe packed his bags early, hopefully. Maybe it sealed the deal, but I too, like you, think that the next 6 games will show a lot. Because imagine that Aaron plays well, and it shows that candidate that, hey, if things are perfect, he still got it. Or say he bombs the whole way, then it tells them, hey, we are rebuilding and we're 2 years away instead of 3. That's a big difference, you know.
Ben
We're
Johnson
just
is
gonna,
not going to the Jaguars infrared. The Jaguars are in a bigger fucking mess than we are. There's
he
no way. I will bet you my entire next
yeah,
paycheck
he's not.
that he is not going to Jacksonville.
He had offers last year and he turned them down. So why would he now jump on the Jags? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Geez, yeah, I want to go. I want to go to where it's hot as hell and miserable all year long, so I can try to resurrect a highly touted quarterback who hasn't lived up to his potential, and show up to a stadium that's a third of the way sold out every single week. Yeah, that's where he wants to go. Dude, it's a
Guys,
million fucking degrees down here. He's the up north guy. He doesn't want to come down to this shit.
okay, guys, hit the like. Rickie, before we wrap, I want to ask you what you think of Seattle coming all the way across country into, I don't know, a half sold out MetLife. But Aaron coming off of 2 weeks of rest. I mean, we already saw him off of 10 days rest, but this is 2 full weeks. Are these guys gonna lock arms and play like hell? How do you think, before I let you go, we will look in on December 1st?
I think that I think we should come out with a little bit better energy since guys are going to have some rest. Yeah, I'm going to say they're going to play hard, good energy. I would like to say that we come out looking prepared, but I just don't have the faith in this coaching staff to say that. But I think effort wise and health wise, I think maybe we'll be stronger and come some of the things that have been haunting us. And I think we're going to play a good game in that game. And I could see us beating them. And, hopefully they have a long delayed flight and a terrible hotel and anything that can give us an edge. And screw Seattle. If there's one thing I hate, it's like when people start going, "Oh, see, we should have kept Geno." No, we shouldn't have. And Seattle's finding out this year. Like I said, I has one good year, be it Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, whoever, and people suddenly think this guy that's been, forever, it just suddenly flipped a switch and became good. But no, like Geno Smith is still Geno Smith, and scare me. Seattle
And
here.
Rickie, you weren't saying that Ben Johnson would come here, just that he also wouldn't go to Jacksonville, right?
I don't know if he would come here or not. I would like to think because of all the stars we have in, it's got all the firepower in the world. It just needs to be molded into my image to work. And thinking, but I don't know. I don't know if he would come here. I would love for him to, but I have no idea if he would or not. I just, I can't speak. I know he's going to be real picky, and I know he's got an ego. But if you go someplace, you want to go someplace where you think you can win, and if they had the right direction. I don't know that you can say that about Jacksonville, and Jacksonville seems to kind of unraveled and gotten progressively worse in a lot of areas. And Trevor Lawrence is not what everybody thought he was going to be. Said between that and it being, a million degrees outside every single day, Jackson and Jacksonville does not have the fan base or the a lot of NFL teams do. That's like the definition of small market. And if I was the candidate name out there, I would go to the smallest market in the NFL and deal with it. That's just me, but I would not
with a
want to
quarterback that just got paid $50 million, and many people
It
don't
might not
believe
be
it.
the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rickie, it's been awesome. I do want to give you a chance. I know we spoke in the beginning about, some things you got cooking. Is there anything you want to plug right now? If not, or in conjunction with your final jet take of the night?
Not really so much. Like I said, I'm kind of gonna postpone the actual launch of the channel until the draft. But you know, I am going to be doing a couple of just like you know where we are at this point in the season, and so you know people can search my name, find my channel, and look at those if they want to. But that's really about all I've got cooking right now. And as far as my final Jet thoughts, this athletic article does not that much. I met Woody back in like 2012, the Jets fan club gate down here, and he actually showed for just like a few minutes. It was just like, you know, a quick popped in to say hello. But I actually asked about the meddling thing because people were saying that even back then. And I'll tell you, from meeting him in person, big pushy take charge kind of guy. He's like a kind of quiet little socially awkward you know, but don't have good socials kind of guy. And when I asked him about it, he kind of laughed and he was like, you know what? He said, I wish I had the football knowledge to interfere in the day-to-days like people think that I do. He is like, but I don't. He was like, I'm probably more hands my other company than I am the team. And I don't hardly get involved in the day-to-days there either. He was like, you know, I interview and I try to hire the best football minds that I possibly can, and I put them in place to run, you know, business for me. And he was like, that's, you know, what an owner really does. You hire the best people available and you have them run the business for you. And so, and then, you know, that's not to say that he doesn't have any input or anything, but like people thinking like, oh, Woody, dude, like Woody did not sit down and get the Hassan Reddick deal done. Like those NFL contracts, that's like a legal document. He couldn't write that thing up if his life depended on it. Rich guys like that hire somebody else to do that stuff. So, like I said, if people want to buy, the best part if we started winning games is the media could quit using us for a fucking punching bag because, you know, I guess the NFL itself isn't exciting enough to like mid-season keep taking shots at the Jets because things are not going our way. And I guess that makes for good press or whatever. Personally, it's getting a little bit old with me, but yeah, that would be the nice thing is we could move on to something more positive and stop listening to like I said, you know, if all that is true about Woody, then we can expect to see Tyrod on Sunday. If Aaron trots out bullshit, and that's how I look at it. Like, you know, there's nobody left that would supposedly be blocking Woody from doing that. So if Aaron is benched come Sunday, then it was true. And if Aaron walks out there, then it was bullshit. And that's the way I look at it. But yeah,
enough,
that's
man.
my thoughts on that.
Hey, getting your kudos in the chat to you, Rickie, man. Glad you stuck out for the full time. I appreciate you, man. And I'll take you any Friday night you're around. So, dude,
Right
have
on,
a good
man.
weekend. Dude, enjoy
Like
a
I said, it's
weekend where
usually
we don't lose. Yeah.
yes, it's usually every other weekend. My work really screwed me yesterday. They told me not only are we going to be closed for Thanksgiving, which in like the 6 years I've been there, we've never closed for Thanksgiving, but we're also taking that entire weekend off. And that's 3 12 to 14-hour shifts that I'm going to lose without pay and no warning at all. Yeah, no warning at all. Like 6 days of warning. Oh, by the way, when you come to work Wednesday night, when you go home, you're not going to come back to work until the following Wednesday. I'm like, what? A whole week? That's 25% of my month's salary not going to be there. Yeah. And you know, true. You act like I'm happy. It should be happy because I get a couple extra days off. Like that, you know. If it was off with pay, I'd be fired up, but it's not. So yeah, that's kind of kind of really stuck it to me. Might have decided for me whether or not I'm going to attend the Jacksonville game, because I already would have had to take off work for it. But happening, I don't know if I can afford to lose 2 more days of pay on top of that. So I probably am not going to go now.
And,
But
hey,
you know what?
let's see the Seattle game, because after that it might be a tankathon.
But that's one thing I was going to say is I would have had to work the rest of the year. I only have to work for Seattle and the Miami game, the last game. But now I get to see the Seattle game too. So now I only have to miss the very last game of the year.
Nice.
And if the year does not improve, then maybe by the time we get to the very last game, it's not going to matter that much to me. But hopefully we're on a tear, and I'm really pissed that I have to miss that game. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that we go on a good streak here after the bye, and I'll be mad as hell to miss that last game. Fingers crossed, man. But yeah, Seattle's a beatable team. Hopefully with the rest and getting healthy, we're going to come out there firing, and we're going to take care of business. And, you know, that's where we got to start. We got to beat the teams that we're expected to beat. And that's exactly what this is. The next 2 games, Seattle and Jacksonville, we should beat both of them. And, you know, one of the only teams as bad as Jacksonville this year has been Tennessee, and we beat them. So we should be able to at least beat Jacksonville too. So yeah, string together a couple of wins, man. Get the guys feeling confident, and when we face a team that we shouldn't beat, well, maybe we won't be feeling like we shouldn't beat them. Maybe we'll be feeling like we just won the last 3. We'll win this one too.
Hey, have a good night, Rickie.
All right, man. Cool. I appreciate you having me. Have a good night.
Yep.
Thanks to everybody in the chat, and go Jets.
Later. Well, hey, something to do on a Friday night, right, guys? What I would say is, hey, I'm not even gonna say win out, right? Because like, I mean, hey, I could say it for one more week, right? But the way I see it, each win is 1 week where the Jet fan base isn't depressed, right? Each, like, because we've lost 7 out of 8, and you could see the depression just compounding. So at this point, I don't care. You win 4 out of 6. I don't care about draft, man. We need it for our mental health. Each week we lose, our pets' heads start falling off. If you know that movie, like it just gets so toxic. So give me as many wins as you can get, because I just can't take it anymore. Each week after a loss is the pits. I want to be short sighted, and I just want to say, give me as many wins as you can get right now. I don't care. If you don't, then there's going to be 80% turnover, and I can't take that either. I don't care if it's at the sacrifice of a draft pick. When you're talking 40% turnover versus 80% turnover, 40% with a high draft pick, or I'm sorry, 40% with a low draft pick, or 80% with a high. I get it that you want the high, but I'll take the 40% with the low, because I think with the 40%, you're going to attract more talent at GM. You're going to attract more talent at head coach. Maybe I'm wrong, but what I have in my back pocket is each win is also a less depressing week. So beat Seattle. Hey, I'll see you guys hopefully next week if I can recruit a guest. I'm not locked into Fridays anymore, so this was kind of a treasure, but I'll go live when I got something to talk about that's unique, or I'll go live when I have a guest that you haven't heard from every single week or whatever. So just keep your eye out, subscribe, like the video, stay out of the throes of depression, which is a tall order these days, man. Have a good night, guys. Let's do it. Let's not circle the drain.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
Oh, I'm beating you with my mind. And I can still dominate, I think.
Dane, you're a legend, bro.